stole your shirt and your belt buckle.
Oh, are you wearing my? That's funny. Aaron, the one Aaron wore on like that. The one Aaron had was mine.
Yeah.
He stole that.
It surprised me because like
most of his clothes were mine back in the day.
He's always worn that LA belt buckle.
Yeah, that was mine. I think I got that for Christmas from my cousin in like 2003 or something. And Aaron was he was like, oh, that's the coolest belt buckle I've ever seen. And finally I was just like, dude, take it. You like it way more than I do. And then he was just rocking that shit everywhere, like flossing it all hard. Yeah, that was funny.
Okay, so, all right, we are Hollywood Alive.
I think I watched your guys' video with him. I think I watched it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I watched it. It wasn't quite as set up as well as this one is.
I had like a blue hoodie on and shit. We were doing it in the basement of my room.
Yeah, and I think it was just like someone's phone was
he only
filming you on the phone.
That's what you're called.
This looks way better.
Yeah. But we were like so unadvanced all the way back then. But like what we're trying to do is a Swan Songs era tribute band for Hollywood Undead, but also with like some MySpace stuff.
Oh wow.
Where's the band?
That's pretty cool.
I have it on.
Oh, that's right, you have it on. I want his confirmation that it's like just like his. The one that you
damn.
Bring it in.
That's pretty cool.
What up, so?
I see it.
Well, you can see it now.
Yeah.
I'm so black.
Okay, so I guess the first question the Del Taco, with that stupid ass fucking Del Taco mask bag I made.
Yeah, I saw you guys are wearing the early stuff. You're rocking the early gear.
Oh yeah. So the first thing I guess I want to talk about, like, as soon as even when we started, people kept asking us, "Are you gonna have a Shady Jeff in your band? Are you gonna do Shady Jeff videos and this and that?" And like, you were a big part of the band in the beginning, and then, well, after all these years, people still talk about you.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's why.
Well, what's crazy is like, it's still like the age of the people that hit me up has always stayed the same, even though we've spanned 20 years. You know, I still have like 16-year-old kids hitting me up like, whoa, were you Shady Jeff back in the day? You know, and it's like, it blows my mind because it was a very short amount of time. It was only 2 years or something I was in the band. Looking back, it seems like a month. But yeah, it's wild that, and you know, those dudes, they did a pretty good job scrubbing me off of everything. So the fact that kids still, you know, are around, you know, and still like when I post videos on my YouTube, you know, like a ton of people watch, like a ton of kids show up, and like even on Instagram, if I ever put up anything Hollywood Undead related on Instagram, it's like 300 likes, like instantly. Like they're always back there, and it's like it's been kind of cool, you know. But it's crazy that you guys are still around and even know who I am, because it was a long time ago. And they've changed so much. It's wild how much that band's changed.
Personally, I'm not a big fan of the newer stuff. Personally.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, you've seen my videos.
I was surprised that you really didn't follow anything they did after you left.
No, I didn't. You know, it wasn't the greatest. They were my friends, and they turned into, you know, everything got way too serious. And then
That's fine, man.
I don't know, I was just on to other things in my life, and I don't know, it wasn't like I was, you know, and for one, they didn't do anything for a long time. You know, it was like 4 years before they put out Swan Songs, because it's not like, you know, and by that time I was over the whole thing, and the last thing I wanted to do was hear a Hollywood Undead album, you know. And so, you know, it was just, you know, a long time had gone by, and so now looking at this stuff, it's just kind of, I'm glad I'm doing the reaction videos now than if I didn't done them before. Because now it's all funny to me, you know, it's all cool, it's all You know, most of their stuff's decent, and it's funny to me because I know them, and it's still so weird to see them doing that, you know, because I know them more as just dudes I hung out with. You know, the Hollywood Undead thing was pretty quick and kind of over with quickly for me. So, like, I knew them more as just dudes. And so seeing them, you know, seeing George rap is just, it fails to make me laugh, you know, because he's just the goofiest dude. And for him to be seriously rapping and stuff, it's very funny. They weren't like, those were like the last dudes to end up in a hip hop group, you know, like, so it's, at least in my opinion, so it's kind of funny, except for, you know, I don't know. It's funny to me, so like watching it's kind of fun watching it, where in the past I didn't really want to, you know, it was just bad memories kind of. So it was, you know, but it's been long enough that it doesn't matter, and looking at it's kind of fun these days. And you guys seem to like when I do the reaction videos.
We
like,
watch them immediately when they come up.
It's been kind of fun. The last one was funny. I was talking about the thing at the Osborne house. Did you watch that one?
Yeah, that was crazy. How the fuck you
guys? Like, I have some other even crazier stories than that.
I'm just
that I'll get to eventually.
How you guys? I'm curious how like even you weren't. That was before this, way before you left. And how are you guys already?
Yeah, I think that could have even been pre-Hollywood Undead. I'm pretty sure it might have been pre-Hollywood Undead because Sonny was a baby. Sonny Moore was young, and the Osborne show was still on TV. I mean, if you go and do the math, it might have even been pre-Hollywood Undead. But that story was really that was a crazy night.
That's what I was wondering about. How would you guys at that point already know you're at the freaking Osborne's house? How did that happen?
Well, because Sonny got in a fight.
Yeah,
and and it was crazy, and so we all stayed in the venue for a while everyone left. So if the dude wanted to come and punch Sonny again, you know, he couldn't do it. So then the Osborne's house was like a few blocks down from the venue. So we just ran to, she's like, oh, come to my house. And we're all, oh, hell yeah, we'll go to your house. Like, sure.
Did you know that?
She's like, oh, my parents are home. And we're like, oh, well, okay. But we were kind of traumatized because Sonny just got jumped by someone randomly. Like, and it was, you know, we literally got in a fight. That was another time I've seen Jeffree Star fucking punch some dude. And was gonna rip that dude's head off. It was really funny. Jeff's a pretty tough kid when in the right situations.
How did you know that fucking DeCurls or Matt was on the Amanda show? Did you ever see
what that? Is the Amanda show? That's gotta be.
It was a Nickelodeon. It was a Nickelodeon thing. Here, I'll send you the link after we're done.
Wait, when he was a kid?
He looked like he was at least 20. He was Drake Bell from Drake and Josh and the Zoe 101, I think. He's on the freaking TV on the show on Nickelodeon, way before Hollywood.
Okay, you need to show me that.
I still can't believe it.
So, well, he actually, there's something, now that you say that, like something's kind of like Nickelodeon with Matt. I think his dad was a producer for Nickelodeon or something.
Oh, shit.
Maybe. 20. If he was 20, I don't know. I think I met him when we were a little older, like in our 20s is when I hung out with Matt. But you know, the whole Hollywood Scientology mafia that we have going on here, they all, you know, they bring all their kids in, you know, and give their kids jobs, and that's probably what that was. They were trying to break him into something. I recall him doing some acting or something like that. So that might be that, but that would be funny to see. Was he chubby?
No, actually, he just
not chubby.
He had short brown.
He was skinny.
Hair. Yeah, he had brown curly.
Black.
Brown.
Brown.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of a ginger, isn't he?
Yeah, he looked like, but like you see his face, you can tell it's him immediately.
It's him.
Yeah.
You'd have to show it to me. I can
Yeah.
confirm it for sure, probably.
My next the next topic I guess was like how exactly did it start? Like I remember saying it was like Aaron, Jorl, and you is what everyone thinks.
Yeah, Aaron and Jarrell had just uh, graduated Full Sail Academy, which is like a music recording school here in LA. And, you know, they were all kind of like I'd been in a bunch of bands and I was like, I had tattoos and all this stuff. And I was kind of an outsider that Evan Thomas, my buddy Evan Thomas 750, you've heard about him.
Yeah.
He brought me into and introduced me to all those dudes, but they're all Scientologists. They all grew up together in Scientology, right? So I was always an outsider from like day one, but like Aaron and Jarrell were like, oh, this guy, we're doing music. This guy's a musician. And so I was hanging out with me and Jarrell. When I met Jarrell, we hit it off really well. I love that dude. He's hilarious. So I was hanging out over there, and Aaron came over, and he played us a recording for I think the kids. Was that the first one?
That's what everybody says. Yeah, that was the first one. Yeah,
that's the first song, and he was playing just the like dun, 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 dun. I think that's how it goes.
Yeah.
And me and Aaron were having a cigarette on the patio, and I was talking to him, and I was like, Beastie Boys is really big, but they're like old now, and they're kind of fading out. No one ever really did another Beastie Boys, like a serious kind of hip hop, but like kind of rock metal type of thing, but not like cheesy, And they were like, oh yeah, and I was like, it would be cool to like, because like if you know how to record, you can make anything sound good, you could fart in a can and make it sound awesome, like so. They were really good because they just got out of school and but they had no content, and I was like, oh, I've been in 12 bands, in my life up to that point, and I was working in the music industry, doing A&R, apprenticing to go scout new bands and stuff. So I was pretty much I was into music a lot. So whenever I was around them, they'd pick my brain, we'd talk about stuff, and then the next day I came over, they were like, come over. And they had, then Jarrell had put lyrics on it. And I think they were like, oh, we need help like coming up with more like lyrics. And like, they were like putting a bunch of words together. And like, that's when that song came together. And I was like, this is actually like, we were laughing because I was like, this is actually pretty good. Aaron's pretty good at least at that time, like knocking off Dr. Dre style stuff, and at Full Sail Academy, they teach you, if you're having trouble coming up with new content, take something from some other song and build a song around it. And so that's Aaron's style, and I can show you like every song, we did, who he knocked off. But it's legit. It works, if you're having trouble writing, like it works really well. And so that whole song came together. So it's only Jarrell, isn't it? It's Jarrell and Aaron, right? Yeah. It's just one verse that's Jarrell.
Yeah.
So I came the next day and he had put lyrics on it and it was done. And I was like, damn, that's actually pretty good, but it was kind of short. And so then I think we went into the next song. I don't remember. It might have been, I don't know, number 5 or something. You guys know better than me. Yeah.
I'm not even sure what this like second one was. Maybe I know there was like
might have been Scene for Dummies or like one of those. I think
that or
it was
Circles or Bitches or something.
No, that was after I left. I think that song. Yeah, the early ones are like it might have been number 5 or Scene for Dummies or something like that. Because I think we did like 3, and then we did Knife Called Lust and My Black Dahlia, which are like my favorite songs that like I kind of had. By that time, I was like, no, we got to make this more, like bring more of the emo element into it and the kind of darker, slower beats. Yeah. And those 2 songs are dope.
Those are like my favorite ones, really.
Yeah,
those
songs are sick.
I really love The Lost though too, and Pain.
Yeah, those were a little later. That was more Swan songs. Swan songs, except for Undead, like that was basically all of them fresh with like I've Been Long Gone. But like I explained in that video, Aaron, I tapped out that, we did that melody as I left, and he ended up using it, even though he said he didn't like it. And that next time I heard it on the radio, I was like, that dick stole that idea from me.
That
stole my ringtone.
That song's platinum. That's platinum.
It's like
Undead is platinum.
Yeah, that's a platinum song he stole from me. And it's a song that's my ringtone that's connected to the Ozzy Osbourne story.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with any of those guys. It's all my shit. That's at least how I explain it. But yeah, that's a platinum song, and it's super funny because he was like, "Oh, I don't really like it," and I was like, "Aaron, shut up." You always say that, and you always end up using it. And then it was crazy. I was on the freeway with some people, and it came on the radio, and it was all, I'm dead. I was all, oh my god.
Did you like forget about him for a while at that point? And
that was. I mean, I had like had a kid. Yeah. I wasn't thinking about that stuff at all. It was like 2010, 2011 by that point.
The Swan songs, the reason it took so long to come out, because they were trying to find a label that would put it out without trying to censor it.
Yeah, I don't know about that whole story.
That's what they've always like. It wasn't just Aaron. It was mostly like Jordan Jordan said that the most, and George.
Yeah, there's a lot of funny stories I've heard.
The Swan songs came out in 2008.
Oh, was it 2008?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I had my son in 2010, so that's kind of like
that year
timeline.
They didn't
judge things by.
Because they kicked Deuce out in September of 2009, and then 2010.
Oh yeah,
they made him.
Oh, that's a story I haven't said yet. Yeah, I was walking somewhere through Hollywood, like around the time that they were about to kick him out. And I saw Jarrell and George walking, and they didn't see me, and I ran up on them all scary, and they like jumped up in the air. They were so scared. It was super funny, but I was all, hey! And they're like, what the fuck? But they were like, dude, we're going to kick Aaron out. And I was like, woo! They were telling me all the stuff he had been doing, and I was like, well, duh. Like, I can't believe he's been in the band so long. Like that was the problem, is like,
fucking tell us.
I couldn't tolerate that dude. Like those dudes tolerated him a long time. I couldn't. And that's, that combined with me not being a Scientologist, it just like we were just not getting along very well. And like I was just over it.
What did they say? You have our attention now. You have our what did they say to you about it?
What did who say to me?
J-Dog and Johnny 3 Tears.
Oh, they were just like, they said that he hired an assistant and made the band pay for it, but the assistant didn't really do anything but like dumb shit that like Aaron wanted him like.
That's what.
And then he was like not showing up to rehearsals, and then he didn't show up to tour. This is like they just got back from that tour. They were like, he didn't even show up for tour, and so we kind of fired him, but like it was still like they didn't know what they were going to do yet. And then it came out, then it came out that then Aaron's like, oh, I fucking left. And it's like, no, we fucking fired you, because you didn't show up to work, like tours work. And then they're like, oh, and he's been lip syncing. I'm all, dude, I called him out for that this first time you guys had a show. I was at that show, and I was like, Aaron's voice went flat the first song, and then all of a sudden he had perfect vocals. And I was like, wait, I know those recordings. Those are his scratch recordings.
That one's so obvious, like the lip syncing with him. He was even
What's that?
That was super obvious with him. Yeah, the lip syncing.
Oh yeah, it was really bad. Like I was embarrassed.
They did
It was
Desperate Measures, which was a CD DVD that came out between Swan Songs and American Tragedy, and it had a
yeah.
DVD on it that's live. And when they Sell Your Soul comes on, you can tell so clearly.
No,
Like,
he wasn't even good at lip syncing. Like you could just see him missing the points and stuff. I heard the rest of the guys have been doing it too recently, but
yeah,
you know, it's
a lot
hard.
of times, even at that point, even during Swan Songs, the other members, like mostly George and Jordan, they'd have the track playing with their vocals.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
They were still going
I
over
knew
it though.
it was that Aaron was doing it, and so back then I was the first person to say anything about that public. People were like, "What? No, he's not." People are arguing with me about it, and I was like, "Look at this video," and they're like, "Oh shit, he is." Like, but dude, I mean, watching these videos, or like I've seen a little bit of their live stuff. Like George, man, like you can't sing like that
his voice
through a whole
gone.
concert.
Yeah,
those dudes just yell, and they're like, you can't. It's impossible. Like, and that was a big problem that they played in like Fresno. It was the first show, period. The first show they ever did, and I went, and it was really not a good show for them. It was fun. It was cool to see them up on a stage. You know, it was like it's a project I've been a part of. You know, so it was cool to see them play. But none of the second song, all of their voices had been blown out. You know, and then I saw them when they sold out the Wiltern in Hollywood. They sold out this huge place 2 days in a row, and I went and saw them play after they had done that tour, and they were like 1,000 times better, and they were all singing to click tracks. Yeah, like they were probably all singing to click tracks at that point, and I was like blown away. I was like, oh my god, they're so much better now after being on a world tour and actually playing a bunch than that first time I saw them play, when they were all just screaming right off the bat, and then their voices were all gone, and it was like, I don't know if their footage exists of that show.
That was the Virgin Mobile Festival, right?
No, it was just a random Hollywood Undead only show that was in some venue in Fresno, California.
I didn't know that.
They just needed to get some, they just needed to play somewhere where they had a fan base. And in Central California, we had a pretty big fan base, and they sold the place out, but they were awful. Oh my God. But the next time I saw them, they were so good. I was blown away.
It's the first concert that's out of them on YouTube in general is, and what's that website called? That Setlist FM or whatever was the Virgin Mobile Festival. And right off the bat, George is like blowing his lungs out with the Undead.
Yeah, verse. George would just scream, and you see his veins all popping out of his neck. And it's like, oh, dude, you can't write music like that and expect to survive playing it live.
If you watch their live shows now, his voice is gone. Like it's gone.
Just I can't. His voice was gone day one. Like that was a big. Like I didn't think the band was actually going to become a band that toured. You know, like I was so shocked that they ended. I'm shocked that they haven't had the career that they've had, just because of the condition that they were in when we started. Like none of those dudes were musicians. You know, like. None of like they'd had a couple of them in it. I mean, Jordan's pretty talented dude, for sure. He may have been the most talented one at that point, at least like vocally, for sure.
With the Hollywood Undead,
like no one, like I know George has had 3 tiers or whatever, but it's like weird rock music, like like it wasn't a serious. Heavy band, and you have to know how to sing like that if you expect to survive, playing for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Or night after night, day after day. So it doesn't surprise me at all that they're all singing to clap tracks now. And really, like, I don't know. It's strange that they're still together, kind of, because it's only like 4 of them now.
Yeah.
Or something.
There's 5 Matt left, yeah.
So yeah, it's just the 5 of them. I don't know. I guess if they're still making money, But
honestly, like
it seems like the whole vibe has changed.
the album 5 was not very good, in my opinion. And then after that,
Yeah.
it's just it doesn't even sound like them anymore. It's not. I fell in love
Yeah.
with them when Swan Songs came out. Do you remember the band Rock Band? Rock Band 2, the video game?
Of course. Yeah,
that
we had the song
that
on
had
there.
Young on it.
Yeah.
That's how I found out about them in 2009.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
crazy.
I went straight on the computer and I saw the original number 5 video and I was like, I love this. And it was
Oh,
like,
jeez.
so that was the Hollywood Undead I fell in love with. That's Hollywood Undead
Yeah,
to
of
me.
course. That
No,
is.
it's not now anymore.
That first 8 songs, that was the original band. What, in my opinion, what happened after that was just like, kind of a mockery of it.
But I did really enjoy American Tragedy and Notes from the Underground.
Yeah, I don't know if I've heard anything from those. I know
Hear
I've
Me
done.
Now and We Are. You did those.
Oh, those are bangers.
Hear Me Now is on American Tragedy.
Both of those songs, dude, those songs stuck in my head for 3 months after I did that video. No, those are really catchy, really good, poppy songs.
That's
at least as far as if you want to get your song in someone's head really quickly,
after Notes from the Underground was Day of the Dead, and that's the one that you did a reaction for the song Day of the Dead, but that video was stupid as shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
guess
so much better than that. Like,
yeah, I don't know. It's funny. It's fun.
One thing I have a question about is the whole party thing, the fight that happened. Like a gun and you and Aaron fighting or something.
Yeah, he was just like belligerent at a like not belligerent place basically, and was like it's when he really like went off the deep end, and when he really got into Tupac, and I think he was thinking that he was Tupac at the time, because he started acting like him, and then I know, like, I saw some of the stuff around that time, and he was like, he literally sounded like he had adopted Tupac's style, but not like in a good way. But he was just mouthing off, and it's like, dude, you're 85 pounds, like you're the skinniest dude, and he was like, and I asked him to leave, and you've seen the story, you've seen the video. Yeah, so
was that
you guys love that story?
Why you left the band? Was that part of that? Because that's what everybody usually does.
No. It's just Aaron brought that up. Remember when he sued the band?
That was apparently after they kicked him out, so that he
so he sued the band, but he also tried to sue me because he said I pulled a gun on him. Tried to sue me. Did you read the article about that? It was in like the New York Times
a while ago.
It's ridiculous. I was like, why is this band even being talked about in the New York Times right now, and why is my name attached to it? And it's Aaron crying. It's like an article where they quote him, and it's just him crying. They beat me up. They pointed a gun at me, like all this. And then he's making these albums where he's acting like Tupac, and that he's a gangster rapper, and he's big deuce, and it's like, dude, what are you doing? I don't know. I don't want to talk too much shit about Aaron. Like,
the thing is, it's funny,
really easy to get me going talking shit about Aaron, but I don't really want to do it anymore because it's not helping anything.
We're huge fans of Aaron and everybody, but like with what happened with, like, he said that it actually happened that like Jarrell and Dylan actually like jumped him, and I think that's kind of fucked up. Like that.
He said happened. That I've never heard him say anything about that thing happening. Like, he said he did do it, but I don't think Jarrell was there. It wasn't like
the part, not when you and him had the fight, but
they said
him out.
And I remember there was some article that came out that said that they all jumped him, but like I don't really see that. I don't know if that happened. That seemed like some lore.
I found the court documents of it. If I could
find it
again, yeah. and it talks about
Really?
George sending like
Yeah.
threatening
When that
messages.
came out, I thought that was just some bit of lore they put out to because you guys love the drama, you know?
Yeah,
You guys love all the beef stuff. So
yeah.
I
Unfortunately,
figured that's what that was. Because they were talking about manufacturing beef all the time.
really.
Um, like we had like a meeting where we're like, if anyone leaves the band, we got to beef like crazy, you know. And it was like obviously like,
Huh.
but I'm cool with those guys,
But he
huh?
actually Deuce like he did that. They Call Me Big Deuce EP right after he left Hollywood Undead. That wasn't very good. That wasn't. But
Oh, I
but
can't imagine.
the album he did, the actual when he actually got his shit together and he did this solo album called Nine Lives. It
I
was
heard he
actually
did
really
one good album that
He
people are
did
like,
two.
it's actually really good, but then everything else he put out was garbage, like complete
He
garbage.
did two solo albums. The first one was Nine Lives, which like Let's Get It Crackin' in America and the one those are great songs. And then like he actually is legit really trying, really good. He had new masks, he got videos for music videos, and then it was a thing that happened after that with the album he did called Invincible, and he
It
got
like
like
got leaked and it was
yeah.
like really bad and everybody was like, oh
No.
geez.
Actually, no. It was really good. It was really good. That was the weird thing. It
Oh,
was really good, and then it got pulled. It vanished, and then they re-released it with only
and it
half
was
of the good
bad.
songs, and then the other half were not very good.
That's
Yeah.
so weird.
So I think
But
it would be cool if you like reacted to the really good ones from each one.
all right, I'll do that.
Like specifically
It's
America.
I know people have been asking a lot for me to do those. Like they're like, fuck all this other shit, you know, look at the Invincible stuff. But like, you know, I know Aaron's a good musician. He's a very good songwriter. I did hear some like almost like emo, but like kind of it was like almost like I guess you'd call it like a screamo kind of like poppy screamo song that was really like not his style at all, but it was really good and like the lyrics were really good and like how like his vocals, I was surprised. I was like, I can't believe that's Aaron, but it was a totally different style sound, at least that I know. But I have not seen. I've seen maybe 2 minutes of any of his stuff because it's like I don't know. I saw some live footage once of him playing at some festival and he was just like screaming obscenities at people and I was like, "Oh my god, what are you doing, dude?" Like
But yeah, like
you could probably have a good career if you know cuz he had everyone's attention back
yeah.
then.
If you
But
check
then he
out
just
the
came
Nine
out
Lives,
like I'm fucking Tupac. I'm like all these gangster rappers all wrapped up in one, you know, and like
yeah.
screaming at everyone, like all the bad stuff about hip hop, like he did. Like,
Mm.
no, be smart, you know, like right, you know. This is all just my opinion.
If you check out the Nine Lives album,
No, I'll check out that stuff. Yeah.
that was the first thing he
Because
did.
I just did
Like
all the early
yeah,
shit, so I need new stuff to look at, and
that was
like
when like
the
he got
newer
his shit
Hollywood Undead
together.
stuff is kind of like I've reacted like 3 or 4 of them, and it just seems like the same song over and over again, like it's the same video.
Definitely like America and the One and I Came to Party. Let's Get It Crackin'. They
Yeah,
have music videos too. Like that
yeah.
like I said like we said about when he did the story of a snitch and all
He
that.
must have been doing good when he did that album. You know, he must have like been happy or
yeah.
something.
Once he got over it, I guess, and kind of got his stuff
Yeah, he
together,
was
that's when
really
he
he was
like
too mad. He was
yeah.
too angry. It seemed like, you know, and like to do anything coherent. But I don't know. I was hardly paying attention, especially with him.
That part, like when you ran into J Dog and J3T, were they scared because they were talking all the crap about you in all the interviews?
No. Well, it was kind of funny because I ran up and I like yelled, and they turned around and they saw it was me, and there was like a hint of fear for a second because they're like, "Oh shit, Shady's running up on us," but then I was like laughing and like we were laughing, but I definitely scared them for a second. And it was definitely when they saw it was me running up on him, but like, you know, I wasn't too worried about it. And actually that was like I hadn't seen them in a couple of months, so it was kind of good to see them at that point because I wasn't, I don't know. Jarrell's a cool dude. I like that guy. He always wanted me to stay in the band. He asked, so he's kind of like I'm cool with the other guys, but Jarrell's like my homie. That guy's cool. And he fucking,
He spits fire.
his shit's sick. Yeah. His stuff always makes me laugh the most because these are all pretty funny dudes, but Jarrell's like a real genuinely like it's like he's not trying to be funny. He's just a funny dude, and it comes out in his lyrics are pretty clever.
That's how he is. That's how our funny man is.
Yeah, he's like he's got clever lyrics, and I like clever lyrics, like Wheezy and shit like that, where you're like, oh, that was actually really funny and clever, like. But yeah.
The next question, I guess, like, how exactly did you leave? Was it like an overtime thing, or was it just like a on the spot decision, or?
It took I was kind of getting to the point where I was over it, and like I said, I was like, I don't think any of these dudes are going to be able to perform on stage. And if I get up on a stage and perform with them and they're all, in cardiac arrest, and having to like lip sync and shit, that's just not a situation I wanted to be in, And so, and then that along with the whole not being a Scientologist thing was always a problem. Like those dudes' parents were like, why is this guy in the band if he's not, a part of the church, and they're like, oh, well, he's kind of a big part of the image. And, he managed, like he learned, he knows all the,
because that's what people didn't get was you were really responsible for helping jumpstart a lot of it. Like, really.
Yeah, dude. They totally fucked me, like they absolutely fucked me. Just piecing out and then just acting like I was never there when I made the moves that made the band for the most part, like I didn't make the music, but I was a big part of the reason we went viral on MySpace, and like all those original photo shoots were all friends of mine. The number 5 music video, those guys were friends of mine. They did it for free, because they believed in the project, like these were things that I was managing the band in the beginning. I went to the Interscope Records and met with all the executives several times. Like I made a lot of moves, and yeah, they completely fucked me. And then it was funny because then they put out songs, on their B-sides with me on it, and didn't say anything in the credits. Never asked me to use my vocals. They just put that shit out. They were never like, oh, like shout out to Shady Jeff for the vocals on these songs, like in the CD or something. No, they don't do anything like that. But so that's a little annoying,
Yeah.
But I know, like I'm saying, Jarrell's my homie. I know he had no part in that. And the other guys, whatever. I'm cool with them, but they fucked me. But I kind of knew it was always going to happen because of the whole Scientology thing, and me and Aaron weren't getting along, and they're always going to back up their Scientology homie. You know what I'm saying? So it got to a point I just left town for like a week. I was like, you guys can fuck off. And I came back and they were like, and I got this phone call and I was like, you guys are, they're like, blah, 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 blah. Like they didn't want to talk to me about they didn't talk to me. They just had the manager call and be like, oh, so there was a vote and luckily if you really want to know, I don't even think I've ever told anyone this shit. You guys are lucky as fuck. So in the contracts for the band, there's a clause that says that to get rid of any member, everyone else has to unanimously vote them out, right? And so I came back, and the manager that we had then called me, and he's like, "Oh, there was a vote, and there was 5 votes against you that want you out of the band." And so Jarrell was the sixth that didn't vote against me. And they were like, so, but like, they want you to leave, So I was like, oh, see it, no problem. I was like, all
Yeah, I
right,
totally get
peace.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, peace. Like this wasn't, and the project was going off and the Charlie Sini got a big old weenie, and like all this shit. And I'm like, I want to do Knife Called Lust and my Black Dahlia. And tell you the truth, all the record execs and shit at Interscope are all, listen to Shady Jeff. This is where you guys could really niche, do your own niche. But instead they went and did Linkin Park, like
Yeah, Young is
I hear all their shit and it just sounds like Linkin Park.
Yeah, you
and
gotta
I'm like, I
react
gave
to
you guys
Young.
a sound.
Young is
I
very
started,
Linkin Park. Yeah.
we started emo rap, like, and you guys like did this Linkin Park thing, like honestly. So, so it was like the music wasn't, like bands break up, dudes leave because of musical differences, and we just weren't getting along. And of course, Aaron was being obnoxious, and I couldn't deal with it. I didn't. What happened? I would fuck with him back. He'd be annoying, and I would just fuck with him, and then he'd get really mad, and then they'd get mad because that's their boy that they grew up with, even though he was being fucking obnoxious to begin with. It's just kind of one of those things, and we were all crazy. Like I was 28 and just like literally like there was like 5, 6 of us living at Jarrell's house, doing nothing with our lives when this happened. Like it literally fell out of the sky. And we all made the rookie mistakes every band does, when they get into a band. They gave us all this money and we just spent it all in like 2 months, and like if I had invested that money, I would have been a millionaire by now, like all that kind of stuff. They're like, oh yeah, go spend it the rest of your life, but all these dudes that are telling you this, they own a percentage of you. And so they're, they know the more money you make, the more they make. But we signed everything, and so we got a really screwy deal. And so the record deal sucked. We weren't having, the music was going in this direction I didn't like, and I wasn't getting along with these guys because they're like, it's always 6 against 1 because they're Scientologists. And so I was just over it. And so when that happened, I was just all peace, like no problem. And then they dodged me like the plague for months because those were my homies, like especially Matt. Like I hung out with Matt for years before Hollywood Undead. And I didn't see him. I had to run up on him. I ran up in Hollywood on him too. And I was like, where the fuck are you? Why are you not picking up your phone? Like, I'm not. Oh, I feel so bad. And I'm like, well, you're a dick, you should feel bad. You guys think you're all serious now? Like, this is like, I think you're like, but yeah, I had a huge part in getting them where they were. And George won't even, someone asked George the other day, they were like, oh, something Shady Jeff. And he's like, oh, Shady Jeff never did vocals in our band. Like, what? Really? You're just gonna lie to people?
Yeah, that's bull.
But you could always tell, like, if you watch any of those, like, I've seen lots of interviews where they're talking shit about me. Jarrell's always making jokes. He's like, he always has really funny jokes of when everyone else is like, oh, fuck Shady Jeff. He's like, oh, he was so old that he needed really expensive mattresses on the tour bus. And like, that shit fucking cracked me up.
Yeah,
because I was a lot older than those guys too. Yeah. And that's like kind of like, I was the dad of the band. And those dudes were acting crazy, and I was trying to keep them in line. And it was a fucking nightmare dealing with like drunk those guys. Did you hear about at the MySpace festival when they're like?
That's what I was gonna ask you.
Yeah, there was a crazy like riot because they were trying to steal the booze from Dashboard Confessional, and like the dude, I don't remember the guy's name, but the guy who does Warped Tour, he's like super famous music industry guy. The band's like fighting, arguing with all these people. This dude walks up and he's like, hey, you guys aren't big enough to act like this. And I just remember seeing Oh God, who was it? It was. Oh my God, George. Okay, I'm losing everyone's names. George, Dylan is all. He's like Dylan. What did he say? He said he was like the guy, but we knew that the guy was from Warp Tour. Like we knew the guy. We had just early met him, and he came up and he was like, "Hey, you guys need to chill out." And Dylan was all, "Fuck Warp Tour. We don't fucking need Warp Tour." And I was like dealing with shit like that, where like they're telling huge people that we most definitely need to keep on our good side, and they were just drunk and like they were stealing booze from another tent. So it was them being assholes to begin with. And then they told, a very important person to go fuck themselves. And it was just like, I was just like, dude, these dudes are out of control, and so I was over it, and about the same time they were over it with me. And it was just like, all right, yeah, that's perfectly fine,
Was it true people were like yelling that they were like Slipknot wannabes and booing them on the stage when they were showing the number 5
Oh,
video?
fuck yeah, that was hilarious. No, that was dope. We came out and they played the music video, and I walked out with Tom from MySpace like in my arms like a baby. And then we walked out, the whole fucking place was booing us. And I was just like, fuck it. And I like dove into the crowd, and like people were like punching me and shit.
So like none of the huge, like, what about the huge fan base? They weren't there for that?
No.
That's weird.
No, not at MySpace Festival.
That's weird.
It was
like
older people. There was a lot of Hollywood Undead fans there, for sure. But the majority of the loud people there were not Hollywood Undead fans, so they were much louder than the kids that were there to see us.
I definitely never thought
we did a meet and greet, and there was like 1,000 kids there lined up to like, like it was. There were plenty of people there, but it was the adults that were there to see the other bands that were better were not really like seeing number 5 playing on the it was like,
so all the old people,
it wasn't received very well.
So all the older guys definitely didn't think that in like 2 years they were going to be major fucking platinum band. They definitely didn't think that.
Yeah, it's funny.
Swan Songs is
it's
platinum.
All super funny.
American Tragedy is gold, and I think that's it.
Yeah, that's all. That's old technology, man. That's back when he used to sell individual albums and stuff. That's crazy. Platinum.
What would you say, like, if you had what your funniest moment is with each of the members, like memory with each of the guys?
I followed around Jordan one night on Hollywood Boulevard with a camera, and he like rap battled people. That was pretty fun. That was a super, like, we were just drinking and rap battling with like homeless people and random people, and he's good. Like, he's really good. I don't even think like he's done like, I think he's a lot better than what he does on, at least from what I've seen. But that was pretty fun. I'm trying to think. That's a tough question, but
he
I think
actually just came.
A couple things.
And Charlie Scene actually just came out with that solo album, like literally midnight last night.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's cool.
So, no,
that's good.
George has one. Out. Johnny 3 Tears has one. He has one. And Danny put out a few singles.
I think it's just one so far.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're all like doing their own.
Damn, they made Danny work a lot. Holy cow, he was doing everything. Like in all these videos, he's like choreographed dancing and like doing all the like. It's crazy. The guy works.
Not to mention, Matt came out with a single a couple months ago.
Yeah,
too.
he reacted.
Yeah, I saw it. It's interesting.
He like
I listened to it 3 times now because I'm waiting for it to like click. Like I think it's cool, and it's cool he did something with like the Marilyn Manson guy that's kind of darker and not. It's different. Like it's definitely like his own thing. It's not like that's not Hollywood Undead really. That's for sure. Doesn't sound like that, but. I need to listen to it a couple more times, I think, but it's cool that he's like, I mean, it's weird me seeing him do that, like it's hard for me to get over that kind of stuff. with these dudes because like I know these dudes and it's funny.
That was the thing is like he disappeared when he left Hollywood Undead. Heard nothing from him at all whatsoever for like 4 years.
I'm not surprised, man. I'm sure he was over it. It's a long time to. That's not a. You guys think it's a fun job? It's not a very fun job. Being a rock star, you know, like it's not all what it is cut out to be in the rap videos and stuff, you know.